Hey, how you doing? Danny McDonald, the Life Regenerator. I love making these videos here at the hot springs. We've got the Desert View Pool today, and we're just relaxing in the water. And I thought I would just reach out and say hello. I really don't have much of an idea of what I'm going to talk about, but I did want to send some love out into the world today. And I love to take the opportunity while at the hot springs so that you can hear the water, no matter where you're at. Working in the kitchen. I know some moms are making lunch for the kids, or cleaning the kitchen, or vacuuming the house, listening to these videos on their phone, or a lot of people at work watching the videos, getting educated and getting inspired while at the office. And I think that's great too. I did do a call with a young man today, and we're all suffering from something. Well, we're not all suffering, but when you end up over here at the Life Regenerator channel, usually there's something going on, whether that's depression or anxiety or some kind of disease condition that you've got. And I was just thinking today how much I'd like to share that I want to encourage you to think things on a little bit deeper level as far as when it comes to your healing. So many times we'll be like, okay, take this vitamin and take this juice, and then get this colonic and do this meditation and write these mantras and set these goals and stuff. But I feel like sometimes there's a lot more depth to diseases. If you think about that word, dis-ease, which in my understanding of it at this time, what we're noticing is that these manifestations of disease in the body, headaches, overweight, heart problems, joint problems, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, diabetes, you name it, it's all going on. To me, at this time, through the experiences that I've had over the last few months of awakening, is that there is something going on at a much deeper level. So again, I take this time not to be a know-it-all, but just to be an encourager of all, really. Just because I'm going through the process myself, not really with a specific dis-ease, which is always the manifestation, I feel, of some kind of guilt, shame, or unresolved conflict, inner conflict, and pressure that builds up. Without getting into too many details, a lot of times there will be some type of, let's say there's depression, or there's some kind of anxiety. Well, what do? You go to the doctor, and he gives you a pill. Or you do recreational drugs, or you use food, or one of the other, 5,000 escapes that we have in a society like this, And you choose your drugs, your DOC, if you're aware and familiar with the 12-step groups, your DOC. For some of us, it's quite a few. We know how to tear it up, right? We won't feel our problems for forever. But eventually, we do want to get free, and we begin reading spiritual books, or going to church, and looking for more truth. Or we're trying to get over a disease condition. So there's some kind of dis-ease, or ill at ease, or a lack of ease, or a lack of flow that manifests itself in the body. So the body is the final creative point. That's the final manifestation of something that I believe is going on much deeper. So as an encourager of all, I'm encouraging you to look at the deeper unresolved conflicts, pain and trauma, or resentments. And we were just reading a book over here. Sophia was reading to me about how, what was it? Yeah, the emotional wounds, and how we lie to ourselves. We get stuck in these illusions. And the lies are so well contrived that we can't even tell we're lying to ourselves. And we've been doing it for so long. What's interesting, and you'll find this out if you ever become a Life Regenerator on YouTube, the minute you start pointing out the truth, like a higher truth, like you need to be responsibility for the creation of cancer, let's say. In some way or another, you were involved in the choices that led up to you allowing this condition to arise in your experience. Because I'll tell you, if you want to be a victim, there's a very high unlikelihood you'll ever get well. So I'm a victim, cancer victims. Now, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but what I am trying to do is instill a sense of responsibility in that each and every one of us, if we're gonna get free from dis-ease or a lack of peace, it's gonna be us that takes us there through our choices, actions, and staying awake. So there, like I was saying, there can be the depression or the anxiety. Well, what do? Doctor, I have anxiety. It's a real problem. So you take a pill and it does something chemistry to your brain. And I know I was in a mental hospital. I'll tell you what, right now, 3 days later, my soul was gone. But it was there enough to know that I better stop taking these pills or I'm probably going to end up in this hospital the rest of my life and get sucked into this system. So I had to start putting the pills under my tongue because they would check, started spitting them out. It took a few more days for my soul to come back and to contrive a plan to jump the fence and run like hell and get away from this mental institution. So I know exactly what those pills do. They put you to sleep to your true feelings. So the question that I had this morning, without letting out too much private information, is that there's anxiety and then there's a pill taken. Well, in my opinion, in my experience, that anxiety was actually the healing process taking place. So the next time someone experiences fear, and I'll do this too, and as I do it every chance I get, fear arises. Do I run? Do I smoke? Do I drink? Do I eat? Do I find another myriad of ways? Or do I take the path of meditation and follow the law? That is the law that leads to freedom, which is to sit there and be with it. So like, okay, maybe 15 years ago, I would have felt anxiety and thought, this is a problem. What it would have been for me is I would have smoked a joint or took a bong hit, you know? And that would have alleviated temporarily that anxiety. But would it really solve the problem? No. So 15 years from now, I could be taking bong hits and never have alleviated the anxiety because I never walked through it. Same thing with the pill, same thing with depression, in my humble opinion at this time. Now, let's say personally I was depressed. Okay, I'm not anymore. I know what depression's like. It's not like I'm, dancing around with the butterflies and the angels all the time, but I'm in pretty good mood for the most part. And so if the depression comes up, I would actually be depressed. And then what I would do is I would sit there wherever, maybe by myself or just go to work. You're depressed. You don't call into work. You don't take a drug, you don't smoke anything, you don't wait till, you don't sludge through the day on donuts and coffee just so you can get a couple shots of whiskey at the bar or a few beers, but you actually feel the depression, you embrace it. Just like, remember the story I told at the river when I got sober, when I embraced the fact that I was a full-blown drug addict, and then I accepted myself, and then that was the very exact second that I never smoked again. The minute that I accepted the fact that I was a drug addict, hopeless, pretty much, because I had been trying to get sober for like 15 years before, 15 years of doing what I regretted every day, basically. Knowing better, but not knowing how to live better. And so, embracing the depression, embracing the fear, and allowing yourself to feel that instead of resisting the depression. I shouldn't be this, you label it depression, but maybe it's just a lack of, healthy hormones in your brain, serotonin and dopamine. You're not? Deep rest. Depressed equals, I wish Sophia could come into the camera, but since, yeah, I have shorts on. I'll just say that. But deep rest. Depressed, deep rest, like you're tired. Yeah. take a deep rest and feel your feelings and be okay with what you label as depressed. But really, all those things, even all diseases, are just labels. If you actually go to the core of it, here's the highest spiritual teaching around diseases anyways, you stop labeling everything. It's not diabetes. It's more of a sensation and a phenomenon that is occurring due to certain conditions. Like the conditions might be you ate too much bread or too much white rice and you totally wiped out your pancreas. You know what I'm saying? You just overloaded your pancreas because you were like a carb addict. And the type of carb, like the refined carbs, that really tax the pancreas. So now your pancreas is wore out and you're not able to produce insulin, or just a small amount. Well, so do you call that diabetes and just pound it in deeper? Or do you actually just go down the process of stopping what's causing you to have those conditions arise? You know, if you just eat sandwiches and pizza and burgers and sit on the couch, you can label that obesity, but what it is it's not really obesity. It's just a condition of the fact that you eat more than you need and you don't do anything. So if you label it as obesity, then it's giving it a more concrete, and then that builds into the story. You want to eliminate the story and get back to the ease of the source within. That's the healing, the true healing of diseases. The true source does not get depressed. You see what I mean? The human being, of course, I think everyone probably watching this is at one time or your dog got ran over and it took you a couple months to bounce back. Many of you have lost children. Many of you have had relationships go south. You're gonna get a little depressed. It's a projection of this brought happiness into my life and this thing is now gone. So so the brain chemistry shifts, and then there's the lowering and inhibition of the feel-good chemicals until you can recontextualize and get back, and now you can see the picture of your dog and you remember the good days, but maybe the wound is healed, you know? It takes a little while for the wound to heal, that you lost your dog, or that your husband cheated on you and you had to get a divorce even though you loved him, you know, but you weren't going to put up with that kind of thing. So now the wound is healed, you know, and it's still there, but you're able to, move on, and it doesn't hurt. You forgive. Yeah, you let go. Instead of always telling the same story and feeding into that pain, it keeps the wound open and you're just pouring salt into it every time, and those repetitive patterns create those flare-ups of inflammation and pain memory. It's like feeding that pain body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. It's feeding that darkness, and that's what we're trying to release in the process of true healing by staying awake, by accepting the darkness as part of the healing process, as the gift. You say it's a problem, but then I say, okay, it's a problem, but looked at in the proper context, it's actually a opportunity. And then, or let's make something up. Let's say problem looked at differently equals challenge, equals looked at differently equals a potential, what was the word I just used? Opportunity. So you go from problem to challenge to opportunity to healing or deeper understanding. I only got 5. But then I want to end it with opportunity. Well, we already have that, but a stepping stone to greatness, if you will, because now you understand the other person. Now you understand all these other humans. It blows me away how much criticism and hatred there is in the world, which, tells me one thing. This person may not have even begun the path of healing yet. Because if this person felt their own deep pain, there's a likelihood that those haters or criticizers haven't developed any compassion yet because they don't understand when you begin true healing, you're gonna feel your stuff, your shiznit. And then you're gonna go, wow, and you have the realization that other human beings feel this, and then you go, wow, I really feel compassion for my brothers and sisters. Because it's a very high likelihood that they've experienced, are experiencing, or will someday experience the pain that you're feeling as your wounds are being healed, because you have decided to take the high road. You have decided to walk the way that leads to freedom. Now that's a spiritual path, but that's the way of disease. Is sometimes people are like, hey Dan, just give me a green juice recipe and leave out the God talk. Sorry, can't be done. It's the God in the juice. It's the saying, I love myself. I'm alkalinizing my bloodstream. I'm flushing my system. I'm energizing, mineralizing for conductivity. I'm enjoying the bounty of the earth. I am grateful. You see, it's the green juice that creates a shift in consciousness. So it's really the consciousness that the green juice brings. It's really the consciousness that the fruit brings. It does have protoplasmic properties, okay? Because, let's take an example. One dude eats cheeseburgers for a month, I'll eat watermelons for a month. There's gonna be some different results there. But one dude could be eating cheeseburgers for a month and actually being awake. And the guy with the watermelons, yeah, he's on a watermelon cleanse, but he's smoking dope, drinking beer. I don't know if you could even do that, to be honest with you. After 3 days on watermelon, I couldn't imagine you even wanting to drink a beer. So that's the cure for the dope smoking and the beer drinking, and the sugar is the green juices. After a few days on green juice, you look at the beer, you look at the dope, you're like, it doesn't fit in the body anymore. You'll get sick. So just commit to the daily juicing path, drink the green juice, and then just don't even worry about the other stuff. It'll go away automatically. I quit smoking, not by quitting smoking. I quit smoking by taking up jogging. I said, okay, if you can't quit smoking, just take up jogging. And I could commit. I could jog every day. Well, after about the third day, I quit smoking cigarettes of my daily jogging habit. See what I mean? So you don't really even need to give up all your junk. Just commit to the good. Commit to how much goodness you can right now. Just commit to goodness. Your goodness will blossom. It has to. It is the law. Ancient and inexhaustible. Patience is the key. Persistence. You can't give up. You have to stay awake and process the anxiety, which is an offshoot of fear. Depression, which is an offshoot of fear. I'll never see my dog again. That's a fearful thought. Or I'll never feel the love I had for Rover ever again. But you will. You might even love your next dog even more. But you'll appreciate it, because Rover was just run over by a car one day, and you forgot to feed him that morning, and you looked at his bowl and he had an empty bowl. He died on an empty stomach. Well, you'll make sure that never happens again. You know what I mean? Sophia's laughing. Just sort of saying, be mindful. Don't take anything for granted. Appreciate the health you do have. Appreciation is the key to receiving more. So if you say, thank you God for today's health, I can't get out of bed, but I can open my eyes. Instead of saying, I can't get out of bed, this sucks. I'm so mad and angry. Why would you do this to me, God? You'll be in bed 20 years from now. But if you say, thank you, God, I can open my eyes. I can watch TV, and I can watch these walking videos for people with fibromyalgia or restless leg or chronic fatigue, you know? And you get the vision. You're like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna walk. I can open my eyes today. I can move my neck. I can move my arms. I'm gonna push myself off in a few minutes. I remember one time I was water fasting. It took me like 3 hours to get up to go take a pee. It was a 3-hour motivation session. That was one of the days where I was really detoxing. It took me 3 hours, I remember. Because you think about stuff like that because you don't have anything else to think about. You're like, wow, it just took me 3 hours to get motivated to go take a leak, you know? You remember that kind of stuff. anyways, I wanted to just leave you with that. And I think there was enough essence here shared that you get the picture. Courage and not running anymore. There's nowhere to run. Unless you want to stay stuck. Unless you want to keep that crap buried that's causing your health issues. The guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, the criticism of yourself, the self-judgment, the loathing, the victim. Let it all go. It's a great idea because one of the best things I ever did was take 100% responsibility for my life. And that actually grows, and you actually grow more and more in your awareness of how actually you really are responsible for what you're creating and bringing in to your experience. And at first, if you're standing in lots of doggy doo-doo and you're in debt and you're not well, that might be a bummer, but it also should give you the greatest hope, because if you got yourself in the doo-doo or you're walking through the thick mud of the choices you made in the past because you weren't aware, that should be hopeful that you can now make other decisions. The decisions you make today is where you're going to be at tomorrow. So start thinking positive. Gratitude, responsibility, self-honesty. Look at yourself and say, hey, am I really being honest with myself about this situation? Am I really a victim here? Is it my doctor's fault? What choices did you make? That way you're empowered to start making different ones. Can you dig it? Thank you so much for your time. It is an honor and a privilege to just be a vehicle for love. And so I hope that you are transformed and inspired by this video. No matter what befalls you, pleasure or pain, walk on, unattached. Keep your vision. Commit to the purity. If you want to get rid of the diseases, commit to purity. You will see how dirty you are in an innocent kind of way. But you'll see what you're clinging to. You'll see your crap and you'll go, oh God, another stack. And we all have it. Spoken by my wise, sage angel face, who always adds a lot of color and dimension and brings in things that I'm overlooking. So thanks, babe. Yeah, we all have a lot of crap. So, hey, I'm right here with you, baby. I'm going to battle every day. The small self versus the big self. I'll tell you, the big self, the big light, the eternal, the divine, the love, the peace, the source. That is the truth. The little illusions, play with them, have fun on earth, keep one foot in this world, one foot in the other. And you don't want to go too far, because it's easy to go to the mountain cave and pretend like you're enlightened. Then you come back down and you see a naked girl and you realize, oh, I'm not as enlightened as I thought. Or you get you thought you were in the woods eating berries and beetle nuts. Yeah, and the minute you get back to town to get a new pair of sandals because you've been in a cave for 2 years, the first whiff of ice cream sucks you in, you know what I'm saying? You're not as enlightened as you thought. So, but then there's the world. You don't want to get too trapped in this world. This world is a place to serve your brothers and sisters with love and to serve yourself, to be a channel of light so that you can purify yourself of diseases, anxiety, depression, fear, diabetes, whatever the heck you label that, samskaras, darkness, pain body, debris, obstructions to the flow of the divine energy, which is a burning light inside in each and every one of us. It's burning inside of you. Let's fan the flame with truth, self-honesty, and the flame will burn the dross, and your heart will become the golden heart, the pure heart. The mind will steady, and peace everlasting will be yours. This is the gift of diseases. They're a stepping stone to your peace. It's the truth as I see it. Can I get an amen? You know what to do. Right there. One of those. I love you. Let's take a moment of silence. And I will say one more thing, which is the total antithesis and opposite of exactly what I've done for the last 20 minutes, but silence is one of the greatest healers. Today's your day. Shine and rise. Rise. Rise.